So hi and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be doing a review, and that is of this product here. So this is Garage Therapy's ceramic sealant, and if you are new to the channel you won't know, but I basically uploaded probably around a month ago now a sort of application and first impressions video after using this product, and in that video I promised that I would do sort of a little bit of a follow-up and just generally talk about what it was like to live with and talk about some of the factors that I didn't really address in that video, things like the water repellency, maybe the price, kind of a little bit on the durability, but I haven't tested it for that long so I won't really be talking about that too much, but just generally what it's like to actually have on your car. If you've seen that video you'll know that on application I really like that, so I was hoping that it'd stand up, and in this video I'll basically be talking about whether it did. So if you haven't seen that video already and haven't purchased the product yet, then you might want to check that one out first, or if you have already got the product and you want to kind of see how to apply it and some of the mistakes to avoid, then that's probably going to be the video that's more suitable. So either way, I'm going to leave a link in the description and probably pop a card on screen as well so you can check that out. So if you are not sort of familiar with the product, I'll just talk about it very briefly. It's called a ceramic sealant. It's essentially kind of hybrid between your ceramic coatings and your sealant. It is, I would class it more as a sealant, however it does have that sort of ceramic technology incorporated into it. So the silicon dioxide generally sort of adds a bit more, sort of the hydrophobics are better, and the slickness and the durability tends to be what benefits by having that ceramic technology within that sealant. But with it not being a full-blown ceramic coating, you don't have to, the durability is not going to be quite as strong and the application is going to be a bit easier, so you can do it indoors and outdoors, rather than obviously if you apply a ceramic coating you can be quite restricted. I don't personally have anywhere I can work on the car indoors, so this is really kind of as close as I can get to a ceramic coating really, to get that kind of technology but without sort of having the kind of faff with the application really. So I want to briefly talk about the application, just in case you haven't checked out that video, but essentially the process itself is incredibly easy. You basically wipe over the product you can either use a microfiber block applicator or you can use a microfiber towel. You wait for around 30 to 60 seconds depending on the temperature, and then you level it with your first microfiber towel, and then after around 1 to 2 minutes you can then go ahead and buff that off, and that's when you're sort of removing it completely. The levelling process is just to take away any high spots. So that actual application process is incredibly easy. The levelling thing I was a little bit intimidated by when I read it, but it is very easy. You're not going to run into any issues. I didn't really have any issues with streaking or smearing. I had it once slightly on the hood, but if you take a damp microfiber towel and just wipe it over, it goes. So in terms of the application, it's quite easy. But I talk about this all in that other video, so I won't sort of labour on about it too much. But what you really have to get right with this product is the preparation on the surface. So if you've got any old coatings or sealants or waxes or whatever underneath, then you need to sort of take steps to make sure they're properly removed to get really the best out of the product, to get the durability, because I did run into issues when I didn't sort of take my time and do that. So again, it's in that video, so go and check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to briefly mention the application. I think it's important, in this review to still mention it. But what I wanted to talk about now was how it actually performed over the past few weeks of using it. So the durability claim is 5 months if you apply 2 coats. I've not had it on my car for anywhere near that long. I've had it on my car for 3 weeks. So I actually apply sort of either quick detailer sprays or top it up a little bit. So testing it for that 5 months was just out of the question for me. I wasn't going to leave it for that long. So I'm sure there are probably people out there that have done that and maybe done a bit more in-depth testing on durability, but I just can't comment myself on that. Because I did actually use this product here, so that's Sigma, which is designed, it's sort of, it can be designed as a top up for that, and that's primarily I suppose what it's going to be used for, but you can put it on top of anything really, any other waxes or sealants, but I won't talk about that because I've got another video coming up where I will be talking about that in a lot more detail. But generally what I wanted to talk about was kind of the hydrophobics and the slickness really. So what is it like to live with? Well, I'm going to pop some shots up of the actual hydrophobics of this, so kind of running a hose over it to see what it looks like, how it sort of sheets water and very, very low pressure, I've got some shots where I'm spraying the hood to kind of simulate incredibly aggressive rain. It's not the best simulation, but just to see what it's like with a different kind of application of water, basically. And then there's some shots of it actually what it looked like in the rain while the car was still relatively clean. So what did strike me with this product is the hydrophobics weren't in these kind of simulations where you're using the hose, particularly at low pressure. The water didn't sheet quite as quickly as some of the other products that I've tried. So ones that spring to mind are Fuso Coat behind me, where you run a hose over it dead lightly and you blink and it's gone. This wasn't quite as quick as that. It did sheet water a little bit slower, which I was initially not concerned, but thought, or maybe I am used to using things that, or at least that's what I've looked for in the past, is things that absolutely chuck water off the surface just as quick as possible. And this isn't doing that. It's slower sheathing. It still sheets really well, but it's just not quite as sort of reactive as other products I've tried. So what I was worried about is the car getting dirty, because generally the sort of premise is if you're driving through puddles and they're splashing up on your car, then if your coating can just push water off the surface, that the dirt's not going to stick to your car. So that slower sheeting was sort of potentially a little bit of a concern. However, what I will say about this is what makes up for the sheeting not being quite as reactive as other products is how slick the surface is. So it sort of made me rethink a little bit kind of how I evaluate this kind of self-cleaning aspect. And this is one of the things that Garage Therapy say about the products, is that it has kind of those self-cleaning properties. And I have to admit, when I see that, and I've seen it on a few different sort of bottles and tins and stuff like that of different waxes, this kind of aspect of self-cleaning, and it does sound a little bit like sort of too good to be true, like how can it be self-cleaning? But what I will say about it is that this product, it does have that, and I'll explain that. So what I did is, the car was it was parked outside as it is, and it had that really annoying fine rain where it's not raining enough to actually like sort of run the water off, but it basically drizzled for about 2 minutes and left the car with tiny little little droplets basically, and sort of stuff where it's never going to run off on its own. And unfortunately it evaporated before I could get to it. So I wanted to sort of see what the self-cleaning aspect was. So what I did is I just got a hose and again with the light pressure, and just ran it over the bonnet of the car, where you could see all these kind of the sort of dust that had accumulated, and the water spots are kind of showing it up a little bit. And I was really kind of impressed with it at this point, because what happened was I'll show the shots so you can see. They're probably going to be over me while I'll edit them over now, but effectively the water spots kind of went, even just with incredibly low pressure water hose just running over it. The car did have that self-cleaning ability, so that is something that I haven't really seen before from anything else that I've tried. Granted, I've not tested them probably as in depth as I have as this, but it's definitely not something I've had with Fuso Coat, which is something I'm kind of comparing it a little bit to. When you run a hose over incredibly low pressure, it's so rare. I've never seen it where the water spots and the dust actually just runs off it. Generally it tends to stick and grab a little bit more, but just it's sort of testimony to that kind of slickness of the coating, and it's that kind of self-cleaning that didn't seem initially, it seems like a gimmick kind of self-cleaning, but it was something that I can definitely say with this product that I have noticed. It definitely is a sort of strong aspect of it. Also as well, I think it's all well and good doing the kind of water tests and showing what it looks like with the hose, but really it's kind of real world. If you're driving your car, is it looking clean? That's what you want. So one of the things I notice whenever I apply any wax, sealant, quick detailer or whatever, is when it's rained overnight, which happens incredibly often, so it doesn't take me long to test this out. But when it rains overnight and then I get up in the morning and I go and drive it, does the water come off the hood? So with my car, the hood's quite long and you can see quite a lot of it when you're driving, so I can see that. And what I was doing, I set off and it was about 30 miles an hour, and I was thinking, I'll have to have a look when I get to the 60 mile an hour road, and I was like, I'll have to have a look to see whether the water pings off, and you can see it slowly kind of roll up the hood, and then it sort of pings off at the at the front, just in front of the windscreen. And as I was saying that, I had a quick look at the hood and it had already gone. All the water had gone and it was 30 miles an hour, and I'd been driving for probably about, I don't know, 200 metres, and it had gone. So I don't know how quick it went, and that was the first day. That was, I think, 2 days after applying it, I drove it and noticed that. So although the hydrophobics, when you've seen the shots of it, probably don't seem overly impressive, in terms of real world kind of, do the beads fly off your car? They do. And I'm going to mention Fuso coat again, and it's not a comparison, but it's just something that I like to talk about whenever I'm talking about hydrophobics as kind of a benchmark, just something to compare it to. When I've tried that does happen. For the first couple of days, the water just flies off it. However, even if it's not been bad weather or dusty or anything like that, that kind of goes quite quickly with Fuso coat, and it's not a slick sort of coating is what I'm trying to get at. So although the first few days the water will fly off and the car will be completely dry by the time I get to wherever I'm going, it doesn't tend to last. However, with this, despite the weather being an absolute joke over the past few weeks, it's just been awful, that ability for it to throw water off and for it to bead off was holding up really well. So it's, again, I'm going back to this self-cleaning aspect, but that's what I wanted to talk about in this video really. It's made me rethink a little bit of, doing these water tests of running the hose over, although they are helpful and they definitely they're worth doing. I think that there's more to it a little bit than that, particularly with this product, there is more to it than that. So I just wanted to talk about that and kind of what it was like to live with. So what I also noticed as well over the past few weeks, again, I've not tested it for too long, because everyone was telling me to try Sigma behind me, and I was I gave in to peer pressure, so I tried that, and I didn't want to wait any longer. So is that basically what I wanted to talk about as well, is that basically the kind of gloss and the slickness doesn't die off that quickly. So it hadn't died off by the time of applying Sigma 3 weeks later, which is quite impressive. I've had, there's one just down here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's P21S, I think, or R222, I don't know which you call it. I think it's R222 in like the UK, and P21S in America, but anyway, separate issue. With that, it's the only products I've seen that's really got kind of comparable levels of gloss, probably not quite as glossy as that product, as the Garage Therapy product. After you wash that, it's dead. The gloss has gone, the slickness has gone, it's dead. It's a kind of a show wax really, but with this one here, it did last very well. I washed the car 3 weeks later after horrendous weather, and the car looked like I'd just applied the product again. So I'll pop the shots up of the initial kind of the gloss that you can actually see. So that was one of the things I talked about in my application and first impressions, but it's worth mentioning again, just the level of gloss that this product provides. Now, I think that the level of gloss really is, ultimately, if you've got good condition paint, your car's going to look glossier, and whatever you're going to put on top is a bonus. I've tried a lot of products in the past, and pretty much every bottle I've ever looked at of anything Series Paint Protection says that it increases gloss. Now, I've never really noticed much of a difference. However, with this product, I definitely did notice a difference. So if you're looking for that sealant, that long-term protection that's also going to give you that kind of, that visual sort of appearance, that it's just going to look great on the car, then this is really great. Because I know a lot of people in the past, and a lot of sort of thinking in the past, particularly I've thought it too, is that you either choose wax that's not going to last long and looks great, or you choose a sealant that doesn't look as good but it's going to last forever. Not forever, but it's going to last longer, and it's sort of been a trade-off. But with this, you're getting the best of both. So if you are looking for that, then that's, which, let's face it, everyone is, then it's really good. The visuals of it are fantastic. Now, granted, the pictures that I'm showing are on probably the best day of lighting to take photos of this. So again, the lighting does dictate it. I'm not going to sort of say it doesn't, but I did notice an increase in the level of gloss using it. So the pictures speak for themselves, but obviously the lighting was incredibly good on that day. So overall kind of thing I wanted to talk about at the end was the actual price. So this is, it's sort of mid-range in terms of the price, I'd say. So it's £18 for the 500ml option, or you can get another option as well that's I think it's £22, and you get 2 cloths included as well. So if you haven't got any cloths already that you're planning to use with this, then it's definitely worth picking up that £22 one, because I don't think you'll find 2 cloths for £4 that are going to be as good a quality. As they look, I've not tried them myself, but they look generally from the photos quite good quality, so it's worth considering that option. I just went for the £18 ones because I had cloths already. So £18, I think the price of that is very, very fair, and I think it's actually quite reasonable, although it doesn't seem like the cheapest up front. If you're comparing it to things like you're seeing in Halfords, it's not, but if you're comparing it to things that are quite high end, quite premium, it's actually quite on the low end. So just a few examples behind me. Those are the old tins of Fuso Coat. If you're looking at the newer tins, I think they're around 30 to 35, I think, maybe not quite as much, but they're over £30 mark. If you're looking at Geon Wet Coat, that's I think around £12 maybe at the moment. That's generally what I've seen it at. We've got Bouncers Done and Dusted, which is a quick detailer spray that has ceramic technology, so it has better durability. That's £14.50. Whereas this is providing a lot long-term protection. I'm not saying that any of the other prices are unfair. I think you're getting different amounts of products, you're getting different qualities with them, and I don't really want to kind of compare them in terms of that, but just generally, I think they're £18 for the amount you use. So if you can see there, I've probably put about, maybe used it on maybe 4 coats on a car. So you're supposed to, well, generally you can't, it's up to you, but you can do 1 or 2 layers. There's probably about 4 layers worth of cars there. Maybe actually more, no, it's 6, I forgot one car, but it's 6 layers worth, and that is how much is left. So you're gonna get a couple of years out of that at least, if you're just applying it on your own car, but you're gonna get a lot of protection out of that. So £18 is an upfront cost, I think, very reasonable, and I think that the cost per application is very, very competitive as well. So I just wanted to mention that briefly at the end. But in terms of my overall thoughts of the product, did I like it? Yes, I definitely did. I think that the standout features for me were just how it looked and how it felt, and the sort of self-cleaning aspect of it, particularly going into winter, having a coating that your car doesn't look as crap when it's rained is such a big benefit. And then also going into summer when the lighting's better, when it's actually sunny and you can see how glossy the car is, you've got that as well. So it's sort of that all-round product really. I think that the water repellency is strong in terms of real world use. You can have you've seen better clips of other products. I've tried better sort of products in terms of hydrophobicity, but it's less of a concern now, having to sort of seen the self-cleaning aspects of it. So it's up to you. If you want a product that's going to throw water off a lot faster, then this might not be the one for you. But I think in terms of real world use, I do think it's very, very strong. So one final thing I did want to mention before I let you get on with your day is a sort of project I've recently become a part of, and that is the Revieworious.com. So this is a website that is essentially what it sounds like, full of reviews for car products. It's getting to the point where there's probably so many different products on there, and it's getting added to all the time. So there's me and quite a few others. I think there's probably 8 others now at the moment of the time of recording this video. A lot of names you'll recognise from Instagram and YouTube, and we're all posting reviews, and there's discount codes. There's basically so much value on this website, and I'm really, really happy to be part of it. It was really, really nice to be asked, but there's so much kind of value in that, so I'll not go on too much because I'm aware I've kept you for so long, but what I will do is leave a link in the description, and also I'll leave a link in the description basically to the website so you can check that out. You can see all the reviews on there. I've written quite a few myself. There's plenty of other people that have written them, and it's just getting to the point where, particularly in terms of UK brands, they're just getting such a kind of library of information. So it's going to get to the point where if there's any products you want to talk about, it's probably going to be on there at some point. It's really kind of growing fast and getting a lot of traction, so I'm really excited to be a part of it. So what I'm going to do is leave a link in the description to the website, but also I think that you definitely should follow them on Instagram as well, because that's going to give you updates on new kind of reviews that have come out. competitions, discount codes, things like that. So definitely, if you are sort of active on an Instagram, then you should definitely go and check that out. Quick plug as well, if you're not following me on Instagram, go and do that while you're there as well. I'll leave a link in the description to that too. So that sort of wraps it up. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it and at least found it helpful, listening to me go on for the best part of 20 minutes. If you have tried this product or any other similar from the Garage Therapy lineup, or any other kind of similar products, then it'd be great to hear your thoughts in the description. Not in the description, that won't work. In the comments. If you have enjoyed this video, it'd be fantastic if you could give it a like, and also subscribe if you aren't already. That really helps the channel out and it also makes my day. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.